T10s. And while the subject and the actual title of the video was not clickbait, I did actually stop for a bit just to focus on some other research. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to clear out my military strategies. I wanted to get more of my troop training in there, get my troop attack, my rider HPs, all the things that I felt were lacking, and I think a lot of people put ahead of the T10 research. I tried to get ahead of. Now, some of this stuff I didn't do because it was really heavy in badges is siege to siege, which you see I have the last 2 nodes over here. So just as an FYI, if you wanted to complete this last node here, all you have to do is take the second to last nodes 10 to 20 and you'll be able to complete that. And I believe, I don't know, but I believe it's the same with the P shield as well. You can take these to 10 to 20 and you should be able to clear this out. Now I'm going to tell you right now, troop HP is something that you should focus on, because just from an overall dynamic of like your troops power, it's going to increase the power tremendously. Now, the reason why I know this is because I went all the way down to the second to last node on my T10s, and I noticed a significant increase in the troop HP power, just the overall power for all of my troops across the board on every faction, every team, A, B, C, and D. So definitely something that I would recommend doing. And if you don't have to go through the grind of T10, and you could actually go through military strategy first, because it does again show up in a couple different places. For instance, you got it right here in recharge shield, in military strategy, in siege to siege, it's the last node right there, troop HP. In P shield, you have it as the last one as well. And what you could do with siege to siege is, if you complete the entire tree, is going to open up field research, which field in and of itself is amazing. You complete that, then that's going to open up the 3 individual trainings for each faction of troops. And then you complete that, you get more troop HP. And the reason why I started to pay attention to this is because there are players within different states that we play against that have T10s. But when I look at their research and I compare it to mine, right, I'm at 23.2 million, right? Some people have T10s with like 20 million, 19 million. So that leads me to believe that, you know, some of them haven't done an extensive amount of research, and I've seen reports. I'm not going to put anybody on blast, but I've seen reports. I've studied reports. If you haven't studied reports after you get into a fight, you know, I highly suggest that you do, because this is where you learn, right? Like, this is where you're gonna get the most benefit and the most bang for your buck. So I really started to pay attention more to the research aspect of things, because this is how you get strong. Right? You could be at level 27 and murder HQs 30, 31, or 32 that don't have T10s. And even if they do have T10s, you could still put up a really good fight against some of these HQs. So just paying attention to what it is that you're studying, and what it is that your next move is going to be when it comes to some of this research, I think is highly, highly important, right? Just chasing something for the sake of, oh, I'm going to become more powerful, and it's going to cost me, you know, an exponentially high amount of badges like T10s did. And this is the mindset that I had when I first went into it. It's not the best use of those badges. Yes, you're going to have to come back around if you want to get T10s later and bang it out, you know, but if your true intention is to try to maximize the per badge, per power, you know, ratio, then you're going to be better off just working military strategy, working siege, working peace, doing certain fully armed alliance, getting to, honestly, I mean, I encourage everybody to do alliance rec, but it is a grind as well. Why? Well, because if you do it early enough, the double badges and all that stuff, it pays off, man. You get 1,660 badges when you hit your 6 million or all your 9 chests. That adds up. No, it doesn't sound like it's much, but I've done the math. I have a notebook over here somewhere that has the math all tallied up. You know, take 1,660, times that by 6 days, and it adds up. That's not even including the small little boxes that you could buy for $1 here that give you 300 badges and 100 badges and 500 badges, plus, you know, the state ruler badges that you get from doing that, right? Then the additional badges that you get when you're buying in the shop, you know, so it can add up but having that multiplier with the alliance rec is really important. So, you know, focusing on that is I think really key, and it's key very early on. Again, some people think it's not. I mean, I've had it for a long time. I was one of the first people in my state to have it. So I'm a big believer in the fact that, you know, having it does help. And just in the context of raw power, you want to try to maximize any troop HP that you can. And again, it's kind of seasoned all over the place. I mean, in elite troops, it shows up as well. So you just want to focus on as much troop HP as possible. Then, you know, bag out the elite troops, the military strat, the siege, the P shield, some of the fully armed alliance. Open up those nodes from siege and from P shield, and you'll just be able to work as much of the troop formation as possible. Then you can go back to T10s when you want and be in a position to work that out. Now, one thing I will say, if you don't know this, I have been tracking the badge count because there has been a huge amount of confusion when it comes to what the actual badge cost is. I saw as low as 750,000, and I saw as high as 1.5. And I'm sorry to tell everybody, but it does seem like it's going to ebb towards the cost of 1.5. This is the trail right here. I just started the second to last node, as you guys can see. And if I took it to the second to last node, it would break down exactly what that would look like in terms of each individual node. And right now it is slightly less than the 115 level, but I know once we get to that 16, 17, 18, 19 level, right, it's gonna add up. And and you see what I'm saying here, right? Level 9 to 10 is 8.4, whereas level 9 to 10 on the 115 level was 9,000. So it's gonna add up, and it's just like this one. It's gonna get really intense after about this level and up. So you could expect that you're going to need a decent amount of badges in order to start getting to that point where you could really start chipping away at this. But I'll tell you, my motivation is much higher now, given that I've knocked out those last 6 nodes before this, because those are the hardest. If anybody wants to know which ones are the absolute hardest, it is for sure these 6 right here. Everything in this this node tree right here is intense. You're talking about 116,500 badges, each one of these bad boys, each one of them, and you feel it, and you cannot move on to any of the next ones until you finish the entire ones. So I hope that this helps. I hope that you guys can pass this on to as many people that are interested in getting T10s, because there's a lot of confusion on it. There's a lot of mystery behind it. There's a lot of misconceptions behind it. There's a lot of miscalculations behind it. And I think my whole intention with even starting this, when I started this, was I wanted to see, was it 750,000 or was it 1.5? And it's 1.5. So I was so committed to it. I had to complete it. But I wanted to make sure I addressed the fact that it wasn't, you know, a bait and switch, or it wasn't clickbait. In the title, I did actually turn around and I did work the nodes that I felt were important, but I knew I was not going to commit to, you know, clearing out siege and P shield and all those things. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure if I was going to commit a high number of badges, like the you know, level 12 is going to be 4,000 badges, I'd rather take that 4,000 and put it back into the T10 training. Why? Because I just want to knock this damn thing out, man. Like, I'm at that point where it's like, I know I'm going to get powerful, but I just want to knock it out, you know? And I wish the game did a better job of just letting people know what they're getting into. Because if they did, then a lot more people, I think, would commit, and a lot less people would be upset when they finally get to that point where they're, you know, they hit their goal. But that is what it is. So, you know, I just wanted to thank you guys for stopping by, watching the video, and sharing this with everybody. I will drop the link to my T10 special training tracker, so you guys can you know, track the actual badge count, and you can do it on your own, and you have the math in front of you, because I think it is helpful. And if you think there's anything I can refine on it, or anything I can add or subtract, just let me know. All All right, take care, guys.